And and my expression of being a jewelry making artist has changed, of course, like everything else changes with time. But if you're going to participate in a world where you're going to be selling jewelry, a small scale or a very large scale, there's a lot of work to be done, and there's a I don't want to say a game to play, but there's a model for how to do that, right? And if you listen to it and it doesn't resonate with who you are, and you try to force yourself into that space, I think it's high risk for killing our creativity. You know,
Exactly.
there are
Hmm.
people who have a wonderful sense of how to run a business, and I saw Joy Cruz on your podcast,
Mm.
and she was one of the first people that I wanted to get to connect with before all this was so easy, before social media was so easy. I took a class with her a million years ago and went up on this little adventure to meet with her because she seemed to have this business awareness. At the same time, she was leaving a medical profession.
Hmm.
And I was very much, I wasn't leaving my profession, but there was that similarity. And I thought, I wonder if I'll ever be able to be like her. She was very much somebody who I held on to as a vision of if I was going to ever start a jewelry business. Because like I could barely solder when I met her, and we don't know each other well, but I've always watched her as time goes on, and I think we have those connections with people.
Hmm.
And what I learned is she's a much better business person than I think I will.
Yeah.
And the way that she's scaled her business and the way that she's been able to um, take care of herself and her family as a jeweler, and I don't know that many people who have been able to do that successfully, and the amount of work that it takes to make that happen is nonstop. And to always have a vision and to do the next thing and to have your website do this and to have your, you know, and I just got to a point where I thought, I'm not sure I want to work that hard, which is the other thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Same. Same. I definitely pivoted with my own business
Mm-hmm.
substantially, and yeah, listening to Joy, there is definitely a lot of grit, and whether you like it or not, this is what you're going to do to keep it going. And um, I just was never one. I don't want to say that I don't have grit. I just didn't feel that that path was right for me and how I wanted, just as you were saying, it changes your relationship with your work.
Mm-hmm.
And I was already feeling the joy being sucked out of doing that. And my career in dentistry before, that's exactly what happened very quickly. And I didn't want to fall into that. And I think that's been the key for longevity for me is just, constantly kind of balancing that need to support the business and support my creativity at the same time, you
Yeah.
know.
I think we're lucky if we can find that.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I used also I would say used to, but it's a common thing. I thought, okay, well, I'll make jewelry, and then I started making jewelry, and of course, I probably thought that I was much better at it at the time than I probably was. And that's probably good. And that Yvette helped me. And I look back at early shows that I did where I'm like, oh, my display was so pretty. And I look back and it's like a couple seashells on a purple tablecloth on a whatever with little chopped up pieces of tree branch for my, like it was going to be.
Right.
And I look back at it and I'm like, oh my gosh, I actually did shows like that, And now I look at other people's displays at shows and I think, gosh, I don't know how they think about that. I don't know how they can like there's
Yeah.
all that mental gymnastics and then when I get stuck in that whole thing of comparing yourself, whether it's your work or your displays or the way you do your website or the way you all of it, it is just for me exhausting.